All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. If you are looking for the top cyber threat intelligence briefed by a professional expert, I don't know, a practitioner, 20 years of experience, breaking down those stories, giving you the surface level in addition to diving deep and giving you insights that you only get from sitting in the seat, welcome. You're in the right place. This is Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Gerald Auger, and alongside the entire Team SC crew above me, streaming through chat live on YouTube and over on LinkedIn. We are all going to be going through the top cyber news this morning. Over the next hour, 8 stories, going deep, having some fun, leveling you up, because ultimately at the end of the day, you're going to be asked at any job interview, whether it's your first or you're transitioning into a new one, how do you stay current on the industry? This right here is what the Gen Z kids call a banger of an answer. I don't know if that's what Gen Z says. I'm so out of touch with Gen Z, but that's what I say. It's an absolute banger. What's up, everybody? Good morning. This is October 2nd. It is Thursday, episode 975 of the Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief. Because it is Thursday, that means only one thing. During the mid-roll, we will be delighted by Dan Reardon, a.k.a. the Haircut Fish, who's live in chat with us right now, who makes a custom meme for the show every single Thursday. He has never let us down. And today's got a good one. If you'd like to play along, if you're a regular here, you guys enjoy guessing what the meme might be associated with. I feel like this week's a pretty easy one to guess what it's about. We're all about good times, guys. Every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is worth half a CPE. So say what's up in chat, grab a screenshot, file it away. And once a year, count those screenshots. You can get up to 120 a year. Kayla Sturgeon did the math. Thank you very much, Kayla, as always. Hold on. Let me make sure that you guys can hear the music, right? Yes, I see that you can hear the music. Hold on. Let me do this. Yes, it's all about good times up in this mother trucker. All right, guys. So what have we done? Oh, hey, if it's your first day here, what's up, DP? Hey, really quick, we got Wild West Hacking Fest next week. DP, KP, are you guys going to be at Wild West Hacking Fest? Let me know. I always get to get a solid high five from you two when I'm there. If today's your first episode, ease by you. I actually had an in real life meeting with someone yesterday who casually mentioned they're looking to get into cybersecurity, at which point I gang tackled them and said, I got to tell you about Simply Cyber. Let's go. So Ease by You might be in chat this morning. If he is, welcome to the party, pal. We love welcoming our first timers. So drop a hashtag first timer if today is your first time joining the Daily Cyber Threat Brief. Guys, Augusta Ogata says he kind of misses the intro music. I am playing music right now. Now, if you're talking about the intro stinger or the Joe Hudson thing, certainly let me know about that. Real quick, I do want to say shout out and thank you to the stream sponsors, those who enable me to bring the show to you every single morning alongside a piping cup of coffee. My cousin Pat is actually going and getting coffee right now. For the first time in a long time, I made a pot of coffee this morning and tastes like I'm licking butt, right? It's just gross. So he was actually going out to get coffee anyway. So he said he'd scoop me up one. Guys, shout out to the stream sponsors, starting with Barricade Cyber Solution, their 4to5365.com solution. Yo, if you're running M365 and you haven't properly configured it, what are you even doing? Are you even cybering? For real. Not to dunk on you, but Microsoft 365 doesn't know what your environment is like, so they can't preset all the configuration controls around security for you. They don't know what conditional access you need. Ain't nobody got time for that. But Barricade Cyber Solutions, they deliver value. If you go to fortify365.com today, you can get up with Eric Taylor and the team over there. Get on a call. Dude, you give them access to your environment after you do all the proper contracts and stuff. He gets in there, starts turning wrenches, flipping switches. And by the time he's done, he comes out, he's got soot on his face, sweat on his brow, and your environment, most importantly, is hardened. Like someone who grew up in Winterfell, deep in the winter, just straight up hardened. You want that for your environment. Believe me, fortify365.com today. Scoop up, get on it. Let's go. Anti-siphon training. Guys, got to tell you, Black Hills Information Security's training arm of their department, Anti-Siphon Training, also associated with the Wild West Hack and Fest, great conference. They are bringing amazing cybersecurity education training to the masses across a bevy of different disciplines, and oftentimes priced unbelievably affordably, sometimes free, right? Go to antisyphontraining.com today. See what they have coming up. They obviously have training at Wild West Hack and Fest. The in-person training is sold out, is my understanding, but you can get on the virtual training. So there's still time for that. Unfortunately, I'm not quite sure. Like, Anti-Siphon Training kind of changed their website. So it's like difficult to easily show you what I wanted to show you. Course calendar, maybe? Yeah, so if you go to live training course calendar, you can actually see the calendar coming up. You see this huge block right here? This looks like Headbangers Ball, MTV, circa 1985, from midnight to 4 a.m. If you know, you know. I feel like Phil Stafford knows what I'm talking about. Also drink. Look at this block of content. So much different virtual training available for you to go to antisyphontraining.com today, see what's up. And yes, if you don't know about the Headbangers Ball, you're missing out on OG MTV. Finally, I want to say thank you to ThreatLocker, longtime sponsor. Love what ThreatLocker's doing. Quick note from them, and then I'm absolutely going to cook your face with the hot, spiciest takes on the current cyber news of the industry. Let's go. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com/dailycyber. All right. I do want to let everybody know, as a programming note, I will be not hosting the show tomorrow, but we've got a guest host for you. I'll leave it as a mystery to discover who will be your guest Daily Cyber Threat Brief host tomorrow. But just know the party keeps going. You know, maybe we get far enough along that if I were to die, we could just AI gen up me with deep fake voices and stuff, and keep going. I'm not looking to die anytime soon. Do me a favor, everyone. Sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over us in an awesome wave. I'll see you at the mid-roll.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. I'm Sarah Lane. Breach notification letters set to flood North America's mailboxes. 3 companies reported data breaches affecting around 3.7 million North Americans to the Maine Attorney General's office. Alliance Life disclosed 1,497,036 customers' records, including names, addresses, dates of birth, and social security numbers. They were accessed via a third-party CRM. WestJet confirmed 1.2 million Americans' information was exposed in a June cyber attack. And Ohio-based Motility Software Solutions reported 766,670 individuals' personal and ID data may have been compromised by ransomware. All 3 companies are providing identity protection and credit monitoring to those affected.
All right. Good morning, Becky Gaylord. Good morning, Sierra Montgomery. Hey, Steve Young. Triple D, what's up? Rhonda Rummerfield, helping out with the conference. Thank you, Rhonda. All right, guys. From the office of, no big deal, comes this news story. If you're over the age of 30, you probably have 19 concurrent running identity theft protection services because of your privacy data being breached. I got to tell you guys, I think there's still an opportunity here We could band together, everybody throw in $5, and we start our own, identity theft protection company. We could white label something, right? I feel like this is where the money is, right? These companies are going to continue to buy this and throw it at you. So 3.7 million notification letters going out. It's all bloat. Maine Attorney General's office is the one who's bringing the news to us. I do love this. I really do feel like I owe the Maine Attorney General's office like at least a hot lunch. Like I want to send them like their office like an edible arrangement and just say, you know what, guys, great work. You're really killing it out there. Bringing this note to life. So this is a nothing story. I guess all I could say for practitioners here is, if you are holding PII, two things, all right? So 2 things to learn here. Number 1, if your business holds PII, I don't care if you are an online cybersecurity school like I am, Simply Cyber Academy, or your, whatever, WestJet airline company. 2 things. 1, don't store data that you don't need for business operations. For example, don't store credit card data if you don't need to. Don't store, hey, social media app for women who just got breached recently. Using driver's licenses to verify the identity of the user account initially, great practice. How about you don't save an archive of driver's license photos so when you get a data breach, you don't have that in your data breach, right? So TLDR, that is data governance. So if you're looking like, how does GRC fit into the grand scheme of things? Right there is a perfect example. By the way, shout out to GRC. We got our Run GRC merch on today. Ooh, representing that GRC life. GRC Mafia, where you at? Secondly, if you're doing tabletop exercises, right, assume breach. Then ask yourself, like, are we going to send identity theft protection out for people? I've seen companies, it doesn't happen often, but I have seen companies that get breached, not send out the identity theft protection. And I think, obviously it saves them money, but at the same time, like, is anyone clamoring? Like, ask yourself this, okay? If you had a data breach, right, and they did not provide you identity theft protection, would you shake a fist at the sky and demand, like, go to Washington and demand justice? Probably not. The only reason I could see these companies continuing to do this is if the lawyers are like, you've got to do something to try to make it whole and push liability off if there is a attack on this individual post breach. That's the only reason I could think of. They are definitely not doing this out of the kindness of their heart. These companies are not like, oh man, I know their letter says we take privacy and security seriously, and we really are sorry that we did this to you. But that's, to me, marketing. Okay, I hate to be cynical, but it's marketing. Straight cash, homie. Okay. All right. So anyways, this is if you've been around the industry for a while, this is a nothing burger story. If you're new, get ready, because this is not uncommon.
New bug in classic Outlook, only fixed via Microsoft support. Microsoft is investigating a bug causing the classic Outlook client on Windows to crash at launch. The issue affects Microsoft 365 users and can only be resolved by opening a support case through the Microsoft 365 admin portal, prompting Exchange Online support to apply a service change. Affected users are seeing errors related to authentication concurrency limits. Temporary workarounds include using Outlook Web Access or the new Outlook for Windows. Microsoft is also tracking the problem via fiddler traces and continues to investigate a permanent fix. Air Force.
All right. So this is for legacy support of classic Outlook client that's connected into, if you're using M365 for, Exchange Online, basically, which, by the way, if you're using Exchange on-prem, let me be the jerk who says it. Like, you need to migrate to Exchange Online protection, or Exchange Online. Exchange on-prem has a million, like not a million, but like Exchange Online has, Jesus. All right, let me reset. Exchange on-prem has multiple problems and it continues to have problems. You're taking on risk for no reason. Exchange Online is in the M365 instance. Microsoft keeps it updated. A lot more security features available to you. Definitely do it. Now, this is for the people who have already gone to Exchange Online, but then they have users in the environment who are using classic Outlook. Listen, I used to work in a business where we were Exchange Online, and we had one user who had been there for like, I'm not even exaggerating, 40 years. And he insisted on using Alpine for his mail client, which is like a Linux mail client. And I think it had to use POP3. Like we had to make an exception for him because he had been there forever. And he had, juice as far as like getting configuration things done. So what I would say is, I would do everything in my power to like, basically, here's the deal. Get them to migrate. That's what I would do. Here's the deal. When a user tries to open Outlook and they get this error message, do you know what that means? That means they can't use Outlook. They're not getting email. They're unable to do that part of their work. So they're going to continue to do this until it either gets fixed or they upgrade to new Microsoft Outlook. If it were me, as a CISO, I would leverage that authority. I'd say, listen, we're not allowing that version of Outlook to run in our environment. You can continue to run it, but you're going to continue to get this error message. You know what I mean? I'm just not a big fan of like backporting and making like exceptions for like one-off situations. And by the way, like, yes, you can do this with a one-off situation. This is one of those lessons learned that if you've worked in industry for more than like 10 years, you're going to feel this resonate with you. And if you're new to industry, it's going to educate you because you're going to make this mistake if someone doesn't tell you. When you deal with these one-off exceptions, it's fine. Yes, you can make an exception. You can get Exchange Online sorted out so the old classic Microsoft Outlook thing works, the client, okay? You can make an exception that, we're going to use this access database with some type of, IIS front end to run some segment of our business because it's always worked. You can make these one-off exceptions, okay? But you begin to introduce this tech sprawl of exceptions all over the place that becomes incredibly difficult to, one, maintain, two, to keep in mind. So when you're dealing with active threat intelligence of like known attacks or known vulnerable softwares and stuff, you've got to we're a Windows shop, no big deal. Well, we're a Windows shop except for like these three people that are using Apple Mac OS X, or this group over here that's using like Windows phones, or they got Zunes. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, when you start making exceptions, you introduce overhead and management, and it becomes problematic. In the short term, it seems like a great, easy, quick fix and an easy, quick win. Like, oh, I'm going to be the champion today. I'm going to make these people happy. I can make an exception. I got you covered. And then it just turns into you having like a bunch of plates on sticks that you're spinning, and you're constantly trying to do it, and you're going to get frustrated. And then, oh, by the way, when you leave because you get burned out and you go take another job where you don't have to deal with this crap, the next person who comes in doesn't know any of this crap. And now you have like authorized unmanaged infrastructure, AKA shadow IT, that everybody in the business is like on board with because it's been approved by your predecessor, you know what I mean? It's a hot mess express. You do not want this. Just be a peckerhead and be like, no, you can't use classic Outlook. Either get your email a different way or don't use email anymore. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Admits SharePoint privacy issue over breach. The U.S. Air Force is investigating a privacy-related issue tied to Microsoft SharePoint after reports of a breach and a possible service-wide shutdown. An alleged Air Force notice warned that SharePoint systems would be blocked for up to 2 weeks, though the Air Force has not confirmed services are indeed offline. The incident follows recent SharePoint flaws exploited by Chinese and Russian hackers, and ongoing scrutiny of Microsoft's security lapses in U.S. government systems. New wiretap.
Wait a minute, what? This sucks, man. Hold on, I'm trying to figure this out. So obviously Air Force, Department of War department, and they have tons of, what do they call those people? I mean, they're not soldiers. Are they called soldiers? If you're an Air Force member, I don't know what they call them. Anyways, they had a SharePoint. It got breached. Dude, SharePoint, like, if this is the same breach, a vulnerability that got breached that we talked about like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, bruh. Like, I know that the U.S. federal government moves at a glacial pace, but we have to be better than this. It's like, it's so frustrating to see, like, and by the way, I'm not dunking on government employees. I'm just saying there's so much bloat to it that, like, when there's a problem, I feel like there's a diffusion of responsibility where it's like, oh, we have Microsoft SharePoint. We really should secure it. It's like, well, that's not my job. Okay, no problem. All right. We'll get to it when we get to it. And now, PHI, protected health information, PII, personally identifiable information, exposed. And now they're making the decision to block the United States Air Force SharePoints. Like, they're pulling the plug, right? They're basically taking it off line, essentially, right? Or putting a, deny all firewall. Could have done that first. You know what I mean? Like, here's my thing. This is an extreme response to a data breach. But had they done this at first, you know what wouldn't have happened? The data breach, until they got it sorted out. Listen, for you at your business, or, as you're coming into industry or whatever, you're going to have hard choices. Sometimes you can't patch all the things. Sometimes you can't change the configuration. Sometimes you have to accept risk, okay? But you have to do the work to figure out if you're going to accept it or make decisions. When you're dealing with an active incident and you make the decision to pull the internet, that's a choice. That's a tool in your toolbox, but there are consequences. There's impact from that. How do you know what the impact is? Because you've done the work beforehand. You've done it before you have a breach. You freaking figure out and get on the same page with leadership, IT, legal, third parties. You do all of that. It's called the tabletop exercise. Allow me to introduce you to a freaking new concept that we invented like 25 years ago. Go do those things and figure it out. That way, if you need to pull SharePoint down, everybody's on board and you can do the thing you need to do. Pull the internet, pull SharePoint down, instead of like, well, I mean, it's 4:45 on, it's close to 5. I'm just going to punch out. We'll get to it next week. It's not like China's going to break into our SharePoint. You're the U.S. Air Force, you donkey. And, like, by the way, showed him, you can find these SharePoints in, like, my son is 10. I can show him in 10 minutes how to find all the SharePoints that are vulnerable to this this vulnerability and could be exploited in 10 minutes. I could do that webinar. I could make a video. It probably performed great on YouTube until they pulled it down for, like, teaching people how to do cyber weapons. So anyways, it just pisses me off. You know what makes me mad? Okay. You know what really grinds my gears? It just bothers me that, like, they had the information. Like, if you get breached by a 0 day, my heart goes out to you. It sucks. Let's keep the good fight. But when you are giving obvious a head start, threat intelligence, all the things you need, and then you do nothing because of it, it gets me mad because, like, we do all the things. We have threat intelligence sharing. We get all this information. We educate people on the business side and the IT side. And then this happens. It's like, what else do you want us to do? It's like stuff like this where I kind of, do you remember like 5-6 years ago, the FBI found out about an Exchange vulnerability and they just went ahead and attacked like U.S. business, quote unquote, attacked U.S. businesses and patched the vulnerability. Like, basically, they went into other people's businesses, which is not legal, and patched their systems, which is problematic. And no one ever yelled at them or anything. And they probably saved a bunch of businesses from getting cyber attacked. Basically, like an adult putting like a, not a helmet on a child, but like, just like, I'll take care of it. Anyways, plus it's a SharePoint, right? Yeah, you can have workflows and business processes for SharePoint, but like SharePoint isn't like keeping a patient alive or pushing drugs or, it's a SharePoint. It's like a file server. Like there's alternative solutions for that. You just have to put the work in. I'm sorry. Cybersecurity is hard. I'm sorry that it takes work and there isn't an easy button. It just, come on, man. This was avoidable.
Attack extracts intel key. Researchers at Georgia Tech and Purdue universities demonstrated wiretap, which can extract Intel SGX attestation keys by intercepting DDR4 memory traffic with a $1,000 interposer device. It undermines SGX's confidentiality and integrity protections, allowing attackers to impersonate genuine XGX hardware and access sensitive data. Intel said the exploit falls outside its threat model since it requires physical access, advising operators to secure servers physically.
All right, I just got a hot delivery of Starbucks. We got a dark roast coming in hot from Cousin Pat. Yes, sir. All right, so wiretap attack. Okay, first of all, they mentioned Purdue. If you did not know, like obviously Dakota State University is phenomenal at cybersecurity, but just putting them aside for a hot minute, Purdue, if you didn't know, Purdue is very legit on cybersecurity. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Purdue was the first university in the country of the United States to have a cybersecurity program proper. So shout out to Purdue. I know I think it's Melissa Stark. It's definitely Dr. Dark, was the program director or the department chair over that years ago when I was working with Purdue. So great program. Anyways, now let's check this out. This is academic research, which means that it may or may not be practical. So let's go. Extracts keys from memory. Okay. Coffee cup. Cheers, Sierra Montgomery. All right. So I love the graphic. Okay. That's a RAM chip, right? If you didn't know, like that's a hardware chip. Oh yeah, Georgia Tech's very good too. Shout out to Georgia Tech. I like Georgia Tech. Georgia's been putting a lot of money into cybersecurity infrastructure and education. So hold on. This is a hardware control. Intel's software guard extension can be bypassed. Hardware feature on Intel server processors that allows apps to be run in a trusted environment. This seems a lot like what do they call those in TPE or TPB, trusted programming environments, or I think that's like where the friggin' boot locker keys are kept. But anyways, mechanism ensures that the data stays confidential, yada, yada, yada. All right, so here's the deal. This is very cool. All right, it looks very good. But this is an incredibly precise attack. So number one, you have to have physical access to the machine. Number two, this isn't like you steal it and then, do like a dead disk analysis on it. It's like actively running with the secrets in memory, in memory. So now you've got to have this machine running with it doing something you're interested in, and the attacker is connected. I would assume they're putting pins or something on the memory. Like they're able to read the memory, right? So they're either putting hardware pins on the memory stick itself, or they're injecting into some process to be able to read what's in the memory. All of this is to say, it's very cool that they were able to bypass a hardware security feature. Having said that, TPM, thank you, Trusted Platform Module. Having said that, this attack is fun to look at, fun to learn, fun to test. I don't see this as a practical attack. Like if you're, if your job is to protect a business, right? Like you work at a healthcare company in Colorado, like you're not stopping everything to go address wiretap as a attack sequence. Like go spend time looking at your email gateway and the policies around that. Go look at educating your workforce about deepfakes and stuff like that. Like this is really cool, but I just think the likelihood is so low that this risk is accepted basically in your environment. All right, let's keep going.
Huge thanks to our sponsor, Nudge Security. AI note takers like Auger AI spread fast. In fact, one Nudge Security customer discovered 800 new accounts created in only 90 days. Viral AI note takers introduce a slew of data privacy risks by gaining access to calendars and adding themselves to every meeting. Nudge Security can help. Within minutes of starting a free trial, you will see every AI app, account, and integration, even those created in the past. And Smart Automation helps you clean up unwanted accounts and guide users toward approved alternatives. See how you can regain control today at nudgesecurity.com/stopauger.
Hey, really quick, DHEX2 drops in chat here. Something I didn't know that I think is worth sharing. And thanks, Jeffrey. Georgia Tech can snag you a master's for something like $12,000 all in. They went hard to compete with Western Governors University with the Georgia Tech brand. If you can do that remotely, that is very competitive. I know a lot of things. One of the things people like about WGU is that you can pace it yourself, so you can get a master's. I think Casually Joseph got a master's from WGU in like 72 hours. I'm being playful. It definitely wasn't that fast, but it was much shorter than 2 years, which, I've come to realize I work harder, not smarter. I have 2 master's degrees. They both took me 2 years. I did them the traditional, boring way. I even had to physically go to the campus. Brah. All right. Hey, really quick, Trey Black, shout out to all the government ISOs and ISOMs out there battling SM Vulns like it's a weekly boss fight. NIST 830 never mentioned how spicy it gets. Hell yeah, buddy. All right, let's do this. We do not have the Simple Minds. Don't you forget about me. I know. Oh, also that song I played yesterday got flagged for copyright, so that sucks. So I guess we'll just do this. Still working on finding an alt. All right, guys. Hey, welcome to the mid-roll. We're at 8:30. Just continuing to crush it, guys. Hope you're having a great stream. Again, I don't research or prep for the shows, right? I don't know if you know this. I do not research or prep for the shows, so I don't know what's going to happen, which is why I don't fabricate how I feel about this Air Force SharePoint story. It's just how I feel. If you've met me in person, you know I'm exactly as I am on stream. Guys, shout out to the stream sponsors who really, without them, I can't do the show because I do have to provide for my wife and kids. And if I told them we're just going to live in a van down by the river so I can scream into a microphone for an hour a day, I don't think that would work. So thank you to the sponsors, Barricade, Anti-Siphoning Threat Locker, as always. FedEx suggesting Joe Hudson make a mid-roll rap song. I love it. We actually do have the... hold on. It's not a bad idea. We could do this. Oh, wait. That's not working. Yeah, it doesn't work. We do have a song from Joe Hudson I can look into. All right, guys. Hey, every single day of the week has a special segment. And Thursdays is What's Your Meme Thursday, presented by Haircut Fish, a.k.a. Dan Reardon. By the way, if you're looking for a sighting of the Haircut Fish, he will be in Deadwood, South Dakota for Wild West Hackin' Fest. 3 nights only. Get your tickets. There will not be an encore performance of the Haircut Fish. It's like Sasquatch. You got to pin him down and get him. Dan Reardon makes the custom meme. Let's go give it to you. Now, some of you know that I'm going on a camping trip this weekend. going on a camping trip this weekend, and Haircut Fish found out, so he made a meme. There we go. There's the meme. Now, just so you know, two things. One, my camping trip is not exactly a camping trip. The very first year, we did sleep in tents on the ground, but ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So we upgraded slowly over the years, and now, yes, this is eerily representative of what it is. Hot tubs, power, internet, et cetera, et cetera. So, of course, I ask you to play along. Dan always hides himself in the meme itself, so that's always like a fun little puzzle. I don't know about the bottle of Dom Perignon or whatever this is. I mean, that is some high living right there, Dan. We're looking more for like Edmund's O's Bound by Time. I bought a case of those yesterday. So anyways, thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the mid-roll and the meme of the week. Let's get back to the news.
Android malware uses VNC to give attackers hands-on access. We know a bit more about the Android banking and rat Trojan called Cleopatra, disguised as an IPTV and VPN app, which has infected more than 3,000 devices in Europe. It uses a hidden VNC mode to perform remote actions on infected devices while appearing idle, capturing banking credentials, keystrokes, and cryptocurrency wallet information. Cleopatra also abuses accessibility services for permissions, evades antivirus software, and is actively developed with 40 builds since March of this year. Certain researchers link it to a Turkish-speaking cybercrime group.
All right. So, I appreciate CISO series. So for those who don't know, the audio we listen to is the CISO series Daily Cyber Headlines podcast. Okay. So we at Simply Cyber partner with them to be able to, have the podcast, and then I pause it and I give hot takes on all these things. This story, we covered this story yesterday at length. So there's a couple different people that work over there. I don't think they always connect. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this one because you can go back to yesterday's. All I'll say is this: there is new insight. So we knew about this Cleopatra Android malware. We knew that it could run while the thing appeared to be quiet. Remember the story yesterday was it ran at night, and me and Phil Stafford dunked on it, saying like, "Ooh, like it." At night, okay. It must be like have a photosensitive diode attached to it. I'm joking. It doesn't. It just, the idea is that, a user might be asleep and less likely to detect that the thing is happening. A little bit more information today. It's using VNC. VNC is a remote access solution that's been around forever. I actually did a video with VNC recently because they re-architected their infrastructure on how they deliver this solution. It's a bit more modern. It's a bit more cool. But the thing is, dude, whether it's AnyDesk, VNC, LogMeIn, TeamViewer, whatever it is, these solutions basically make it so the person who's remoting in is right there at the keyboard or right there on the device, giving them the full display, the full interaction, all the things. So it's not surprising that this is the case. Now, in the world of malware, right, we might think, oh man, Leet next level 0 day hacker wearing like a mink coat, walking around looking like a boss with a European accent, right? Oh, it's so sexy how next level offensive security professionals are looking 1995 hackers movie, right? Serial killer, Lord Nikon, etc. But in reality, dude, like this isn't next level malware. Essentially, this is a Trojan. They offer a piece of software called Mobdro that allows you to illegally stream sporting events, which means when you install it, you literally download it yourself, and you can see the screenshots here if you're watching live with me or on replay, not listening on audio only. Basically, it shows the screenshots. You download it. It says, hey, you're about to install this thing and give it all the permissions it ever needed to do all the things. And you're just like, yes. Come on, I want to watch World Cup soccer. Let me through. Come on, this game's blacked out in my area. Come on, I want to watch this Tyson Paul fight for free, right? So you just click through all the things, and basically it's like the equivalent of licking a doorknob at an amusement park, you're going to catch something. Guaranteed. You're going to get sick because you're infecting yourself. And then you just click on through. This thing does allow you to stream illegal entertainment illegally, but it also installs VNC, and then threat actors log in and then just wear you like a pair of pants and steal your money. So having said that, number one, don't try to steal. Like, I know it's appealing. Maybe you don't have money. Maybe you want to watch that Tyson Paul fight and not pay for it. But you know what? All I got to say is F around and find out. You know what I mean? Like, if you buy something off the internet from some weird, dodgy site, and when it shows up, it's not what you thought it was, are you surprised? You know what I mean? Like, when you go and buy something that's like not through the official channel, right? Like, you're going to buy PlayStation 5 for your kid a couple Christmases ago, and it's like $500 at Best Buy, but you got a guy at work who has one that fell off the back of a truck, and he's going to sell it to you for $100, and you buy it and it doesn't work. Are you surprised? You're probably upset, but my point is, when you F around, you find out, and in this instance, you're infecting yourself. So don't do that. Also, if you can, it's not as simple to do an asset inventory on Android devices. If they are enrolled in like Intune or some of these solutions, you might be able to figure out if this thing is installed on there. More likely, I would just educate your family at Thanksgiving. Especially go look at your like 16-year-old nephew who's like, just like Robbie from, oh my God, what's that show? Oh my God, what's that show? Gravity Falls. Yeah. And this is a deep cut. If you're 16, if there's someone sitting at your Thanksgiving table that looks like Robbie from Gravity Falls, and if you know, they probably did install this thing, right? So just let them know that they are infecting themselves. All right. Hold on. Did Michael Andruzzi, what are we doing? Hold on, Michael Andruzzi. I'm scrolling backwards through chat. You guys, I'm a member of the community too. I like to celebrate wins. Here we go. Wrecking ball emote. Nice, Michael. I'm finally breaking into IT cyber resiliency with an IT specialist position. I've been tasked with creating an overview of our IT infrastructure for my CFO, ! More tasks to come as well. Hell yeah, Michael Andruzzi. My man, dude, keep it up. And may I suggest, Michael, I know you're going to do this anyways, but absolutely destroy that job for that CFO. Over deliver, right? Make them think it's a stupid decision not to ask you to do more cyber stuff.
SSL vulnerabilities allow private key recovery, execution, attacks. OpenSSL released updates patching 3 vulnerabilities, including one that could let attackers recover private keys on 64-bit ARM systems using the SM2 algorithm. Another flaw could allow code execution, or DOS, but is considered low likelihood. A third, lower severity bug could cause crashes. The OpenSSL project rated key recovery and code execution issues as moderate and noted such attacks are rare in TLS contexts, though custom configurations remain at risk.
All right.
Seniors.
If you're running OpenSSL, patch it.
You gotta patch it.
Okay. Number 2, as always, since we haven't done it today, if there's a CVE, right? I do have a vulnerability management analyst class coming out soon. I just, in case you didn't notice, I have 7 jobs. So the vulnerability management analyst class is like, I'm chipping away at it. CVEs, these are known, documented, accepted vulnerabilities on tech stacks. This particular one is for OpenSSL. You can go to a tool like epsslookup.com. This is a solution provided by Barricade Cyber Solutions, the same Barricade Cyber Solutions that offer the 45365 solution. You just drop the CVE in there, hit check EPSS score, and boom, baby, boom. All right. So this CVE has a 6.5 CVSS score, which is medium, not very big. In the hundreds of thousands of vulnerabilities in the EPSS catalog, this one ranks as the lower 2% of how bad it could be. And the chances of you having a vulnerable version of OpenSSL and it being exploited in the next 30 days, you have a 1/100th of 1% chance, i.e., just patch it on your normal patch cycle.
You gotta patch it.
I will say, if you do have some wicked critical national security system, right? If you have the knock list from the original Mission Impossible internet facing and there's this OpenSSL, maybe you want to expedite patching it. But for the most part, just, here we go.
Targeted in Facebook scam, spreading Android malware. Threat Fabric researchers uncovered a new global scam campaign using fake Facebook groups for seniors to spread a new Android malware called That's Bro. Posing as dance events and community gatherings, it lures victims into downloading a fake community app that then installs the malware, often via the Zumbinder dropper. It's been seen active in Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, Canada, South Africa, and the UK. Datspro combines spyware and banking Trojan features, enabling device takeover, credential theft, and financial fraud. Its leaked code and Chinese language strings suggest origins in China.
All right, number one, I just want to give a quick shout out because he is a member of our community as well as a member of the larger cybersecurity community. And if you have met John Hammond, he is one of the nicest people. He's just so kind, so smart. He actually flew to New York recently and sat down with Good Morning America, not like Simply Cyber Firesides. He sat down with Good Morning America to talk about elder or grandparent scams. So I just want to give him a shout out. If you don't know who John Hammond is, definitely a follow, definitely someone to engage with. I really, really love this guy. And he's a huge The Midnight fan on top of it, which, he was already cool. Now he's like ultra cool. So let's talk about this grandparent scams. I got to tell you, exploiting children, there is a special place in hell for you. Exploiting elder people, you can go ahead and line up next to the people who exploit children because we've got an express lane for you. You don't even have to wait in line. We got a slide installed. You can just hop on that slide and slip right on down into hell because you are a piece of trash. Dude, I get it. Elder people, they don't really understand tech. Some of them have dementia. Some of them have money because they've worked their entire lives to set up a financial situation so they can live out their golden years when they're unable to work and get money. And then some threat actors like, I'm just going to rob you. It's gross. Okay. It's gross to attack these people. Furthermore, the attack vector is deplorable. This sounds like an attack vector that some criminal asked ChatGPT, what is the most despicable way I can exploit an elder person? ChatGPT is like, hold my beer. I got you. Elder people are often lonely. Their lifelong spouse or best friends have passed away. They're the last ones standing. Their kids don't come and visit. They put them in a home in Florida. Whatever, okay? I get it. Family dynamics, relationships, it's a real thing. But to set up a support group for people who feel lonely so you can get resources and develop relationships and feel companionship and camaraderie just to rob them, it is like literally throwing an older person on the ground, which hurts them already, break their hip, and then kicking them, right? Because you're already exploiting them. They're vulnerable, and you're throwing them on the ground because this is not really going to help them get companionship or camaraderie. And then you kick them on the ground because you're robbing them. This sucks, man. All I can say is please educate your elders, your seniors. If you're looking for a great nonprofit like opportunity to like contribute, go to a retirement home. Make it super simple for them to understand. Do not talk about 0 days, elite level, next anything. Don't any of that. Just tell them I was going to swear. Tell them that buttholes are on the internet and we'll try to convince them to install stuff. and rob them. Okay, Facebook. Oh, I'm not gonna do this obviously because this would be insane. But right now, I want to grab my so my monitors are mounted off my table. I just want to grab my monitor and throw my whole desk on the ground. Not because I'm upset at my monitors or anything. It's just I'm so frustrated about this that I want to physically take action. Oh, God damn it, man! It's just I don't know, man. And it's not I'm not being chauvinistic or misogynist or something like that, but oh, women and children first, children and old people. Can we just let them be? There's enough 20 to 50-year-old people out there that you can rob, right? Again, I'm not promoting robbing anyone, but
Google Drive for desktop gets AI-powered ransomware detection. Google is rolling out AI-powered ransomware detection in Google Drive for desktop on Windows and Mac OS. The system pauses file syncing if it detects that there are signs of ransomware, preventing widespread corruption and letting users restore files through Drive's web interface. The AI engine is trained on millions of ransomware samples, updated via VirusTotal, and adapts to new strains. The feature is enabled by default for most Google Workspace tiers and personal accounts, with restoration tools available to all Drive users.
I was looking here. It's too bad. So yeah, I mean, this would be really cool. So I am happy to report. Again, I think this is so cool. I actually got contacted by Morning Brew, the online news outlet, on Tuesday to be interviewed for a story they were doing on this solution. So I was going to share that with you guys. I thought it'd be really cool, but apparently it's not published yet. Anyways, this is awesome. Okay, this is awesome with an asterisk. So basically what Google has done, ransomware is gross. Ransomware is a prolific problem. If you're using Google Drive and you have it synced between your machine and Google Drive, when your local files start getting encrypted from ransomware, the Google Sync Drive basically detects that you're getting attacked by ransomware, and it'll break the sync, which effectively makes your cloud-based Google Drive files a secure backup, and you can restore from them once you get your situation cleaned. Now, this is a brilliant business play by Google. Again, this is my take on it. Your files that are not on Google Drive will not be protected. So you got, you downloaded some stuff onto your desktop. You got some photos from the conference you went to. Those are all screwed. You better have a backup plan for that. Number two, if this stops your Google Drive docs from being ransomware. This doesn't clean the infection. This doesn't stop malware from running on your box. You still have to clean your machine. Okay. You will be notified that you have ransomware detonated on your machine. So you got that. But if you get detection that ransomware is running on your box and your Google Drive docs are safe, and then you hit right click restore, as soon as you restore those down onto your local instance, ransomware may run again. Ransomware is continuing to run. This is not an EDR solution. Okay. All I would say is if you see that ransomware is running on your machine, your Google Drive docs are fine and safe. You need to get some help. Okay. Yeah. AI detection. I mean, listen, there is numerous solutions out there that can detect ransomware. Number one, Justin Gold points out, right? If the flag file type changes from .exe to .phobos, it's probably ransomware. If another indicator I've seen is, ransomware, it's code. So it's just going to do it logically. So in a file directory, if it's file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5 that are getting modified, that's an indicator of ransomware. Ransomware doesn't randomly just pick and choose files to encrypt. So anyways, there's a lot of or not anti, but like ransomware mitigation solutions out there. This is a cool one. This is only for end users, by the way. No business is going to have their database server or their application server or their key, infrastructure sync to Google Drive. As far as I know, if someone in chat wants to correct me on that, please do. But I'm pretty sure like Netflix's catalog of media is not synced to a Google Drive right now. All right, let's go. Oh, look where we are. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. What a day. 2 flip outs in one session. Oh, Jerry, behave. All right, guys. This has been Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief Podcast, episode 975 on October 2nd, 2025. I was your host, Dr. Gerald Auger. Don't go anywhere because you're about to be delighted, educated, and just absolutely entertained by none other than Daniel Lowry for a 30-minute jawjacking session. Now, you might be like, Daniel Lowry, that sounds familiar. How do I know that name? Well, Daniel Lowry is the same Daniel Lowry that recently released Pen Test Plus, the complete course over on Simply Cyber Academy. I'll say it for him because he's humble and doesn't want to brag. Dude, this course right now, so sick, laid out in an absolute logical fashion for how you do pen testing engagements. Not only is Daniel Lowry very good at offensive security, he is an amazing educator. If you have taken any of his education, sound off in chat, let us know. If you'd like a little taster on what that is, I'm going to drop a link right here. Check this out. Boom. I'm going to pin this in chat. That's right there. Right now, we're actually running a special on this course as an early launch. With Early Bird 20, you can get 20% off through Sunday, October 5th, 11:59 p.m. It's that Daniel Lowry. All right, guys. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Peace out. I will see you on Monday. Until next time. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Jawjacking. I am your host today, Mr. Daniel Lowry. Thank you for that rousing introduction, Jerry. Jerry is on fire this morning. Jerry losing his ever-loving mind. I said in the chat, he's ready to flip a couch over and start a tire fire. He's ready to get buck wild. I didn't know why he had a padlock and putting it into a sock earlier, but now I get it. Them ransomware actors, they really get to him. They burn his biscuits. And he doesn't like it. And I can't blame him because it's horrible. Why do they do it? We can't understand. May the world never know. But this morning is Jawjacking, and now that we've got Jerry, he can go have some pixie dust on him, settle down, cool off for a moment, and we get to talk some cyber stuff. So if you got questions, you know what to do. Throw those in the chat. If you got something you want to talk about, throw it in the chat because that's what Jawjacking is all about. It's just time for us to get together and discuss the cyber things that invade our lives that we love ever so much. Oh man, the chat is a rolling. I gotta get this. Work with me, chat. This thing over here. I swear. I love a good I love a good chat room because, or at least the box itself anyway. Nobody wants burned biscuits, says Justin Gold. He's absolutely right. That's what we're gonna start today. Burned biscuits, yes or no? Do you like them cooked? Do you like them hot? No, it's not cyber stuff, but it's definitely a funny thing to talk about. Let me get in there today and let's start off. Like I said, if we got something that we want to specifically get to, you know what to do. Throw that in the chat around. Now that I've got this thing rocking and rolling, it looks like we've got one pinned already from Sean Sailors. Says, I'm about to interview with the VP of an InfoSec company, VP of InfoSec at a company. That's a better way to put it because that's how they wrote it. Any last minute tips? When it comes to interviewing, depending on the job, that's going to be a good thing to look at those specific things that they put in that job role that you answered the call for, those things on your resume. Really try to hone in on what you think that they are going to, that they find most important, right? And that's going to be those roles and responsibilities. This is the stuff that they wanted you to know. So those are going to be great things for you to talk about and just be ready, and not just in a technical way, but in a general way. Like, show that you are passionate about those things and that you took some initiative to go and look into those things and be fresh about that stuff right before you got into that interview. That's a great strategy, right? Is that you have on the tip of your tongue a bulleted list of things to discuss that with regards to what they need in that job role. And that can range and vary from generic to very specific. And I would suggest have some of all, right? Be able to just speak generically about that and how this is the kind of trends that are going on with that kind of thing. And that's why, I see why you would absolutely need that. That's a skill I have and to continue to hone. I'm going to continue to build. If you were to have me on the team, that would be something I would love to bring to the table, to be able to lend that skill to whatever job this is that you're going to be doing. So I have found be very effective technique, because it shows that you're interested and that they don't even have to be paying you, and you're already kind of doing the job. And now they just need to bring you on board and let you, Jesus, take the wheel. Go ahead, keep rocking and rolling. Do what you do, player. We need that. You're already making that happen now. We just need you to do it specifically for us. Or you can even tell them that, this is something I'm really already doing because I'm passionate about that. If you bring me on, I'll just be doing it for you specifically. And that's something I would enjoy. And I would hope that that passion would bring, benefit and value to you and your company. And that will be my goal. I look forward to working with your team. I think it's going to be awesome to be able to discuss things with like-minded. You start to see how it goes. You show them that you are a valuable team member and can address those concerns that they have. That's going to be a great technique. So hopefully that helps you out there, Sean. And the best of luck to you. We are all rooting for you. We hope to hear very soon that you have pulled the big W, and we will celebrate with you. We love celebrating wins. All right, let's see here. DC Sanchez says, not a question, but it was a pleasure meeting you at B-Sides Orlando. It was a pleasure meeting you there as well. B-Sides Orlando was super fun, hanging out, walking around, did a ton of hallway con, and even did like an impromptu live stream. Me and FedEx and InfoSec Pat and KevTech and James McQuiggan, we were all just kind of standing around. It was near the end of the day, and I forget why, but someone was like, let's just go live. I was like, I'll do it. Don't threaten me with a good time. I just pulled my phone out and we just did an impromptu live chat. It was a day of impromptu. FedEx was pulling me all around the joint, which was awesome because he knew everybody. He did a great job of just like, if you need someone to kind of introduce you to people, maybe you're shy or whatever. If you're ever at an event and FedEx is there, just break that shyness factor, approach FedEx and say, hey, I heard you're really good at helping people get introductions. He will introduce you to, he knows just about everyone. Okay. Cause he is very involved in the community and he loves talking with people. So big shout out to FedEx. He did a great job. It was a lot of fun hanging out with him at B-Sides Orlando, and great talks. Saw James McQuiggan deep fake my face onto his face. That was crazy, but a lot of fun and a good laugh had by all. Let's see here from Justin Gold. What about Wild West Hacking Fest are you looking forward to most? Sadly, Justin, big tier, not going to make it this year. Won't be there. But I've been there so much, I could probably tell you the best thing about going to Wild West Hacking Fest is it's a beautiful venue, right? You go out there into the mountains of South Dakota. It is just gorgeous. So much fun. So beautiful. Lots of great people there. Weather's probably going to be great as well. They do things like not karaoke. I think they do karaoke, but there's a open mic night. Lots of fun. A lot of after party stuff. A lot of great hallway con. Just super good speakers as well. So enjoy your time there. I will be there in spirit, but I will not be there in person. Not this year. All right, let's get back to those comments. Let's see what we got going on here. See if I can find me a good comment. Am I missing anything? All right, here's one. This comes from Straw Hat Sex. Says, already doing CPTS, which I believe is the Hack the Box certification, Certified Penetration Testing Specialist or something like that. I'm not great with acronyms. But I want to do my Pen Test Plus course next. And I have a Google Cyber Cert. But I'm trying to get a job in industry. Should you think CompTIA Pen Test Plus can help with HR filter? It's possible. So here's the thing about certifications. And it doesn't matter like what certification it is. It's that certification is going to be valuable to some and off the radar completely to others, right? There's going to be some people that are like, I have the Pen Test Plus. I love the Pen Test Plus. It's the most amazing cert. I'm so glad. And that's what we need. If they got Pen Test Plus, they're on fire and we got to have them in shop. So that's what's up. Then there's people that are like, Pen Test what? Oh, CompTIA has one? I had no idea. How about that? Interesting. Right? So it's going to run the gamut of value, I guess is the word. It's going to run the gamut depending on the job. It's going to depend on the organization. Now, if they do have a team that's worth their salt, obviously the Pen Test Plus has been around for a little bit at this point, as well as CompTIA having a very lengthy pedigree of being well known throughout their most of their, I would think most of their certifications are 8140 compliant, so that helps you get into government space. So when you're looking at those jobs, you can look up Pen Test Plus if you want to specifically see who values that the most. You can do some very creative job searching to kind of pin down who is mentioning the Pen Test Plus or CPTS or PJPT or PNPT or OSCP. It doesn't matter. OSCP obviously has at least it still does at this point. It does seem to be that it's losing a bit of ground with OSCP, but still probably the most recognizable HR wise. But I try to stay on top of looking at jobs and looking at requirements, especially when it comes to certification, because that's my stock and trade, is to make sure I know what people are looking for, so that when I'm teaching skills, I can teach to those things. I can teach those skills to you, so you can put that on your resume and meet the requirements of the majority of jobs that are out there. And when I look at something like, hey, we require industries recognized certifications in pen testing or ethical hacking, such as the OSCP, the GPEN, the blah, blah, blah. And they list a few out. And a lot of times it will say, or similar. That's the kind of shop you're looking for. They obviously know that if you've got something like an OSCP or a GPEN or so on and so forth, those really well-known certifications, PNPT, CPTS, that you're doing stuff. You're out there. You got your head in the game, and you're doing everything you can to make it happen as far as job-wise. You're building those skills, right? So when it comes to those certifications, it can be an HR filter bypass or to get around all that. You just got to look and make sure that they have something that is similar to that. And you have to make sure that in your resume, if they don't specifically say Pen Test Plus, that you can say that it is an industry certification, a pen testing industry recognized certification like OSCP, like GPEN. You don't have to say I have OSCP or GPEN, but you can tell them that this is like that. See what I'm saying? And that's a way to go. So hopefully that helps get that in there. Hopefully, and good luck with that. And if you do get my Pen Test Plus course, I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot of good skills. If you got CPTS, you obviously have got some great skills as well already. But you never know. It's funny. It doesn't matter what training I take, because I take training too, right? I got to see people's stuff. I got to see what they're doing, and every now and then I got to learn something. But I'll even take training for information that I already know, if that makes sense, just to kind of see what's going on. Maybe I'm reviewing things so that I could be able to recommend it or not recommend it. And I still learn things. That's the fun part about it. I still end up picking up something, even if it's something that I already kind of know. So great question there. Great question there. Let's see here. Moving through the chat. Man, I hate to miss anything. You guys are super chatty today, which I love. FedEx says no more pixie dust. I think the coffee. Yeah. That's fun stuff there. Let's see here. Looks like I'm caught up. Oh, this is an interesting one. This comes from Carrie Chasen. I have some knowledge on COBOL, and I have a way to work with it in Linux. Do you think that would be a good way to work in IT? I would have to go back and go over the way to code. If you've got COBOL skills, anybody that's running Big Iron would most likely be like thrilled to have you. I remember, when I worked at an insurance company, we ran AS400. We had those old school mainframes for a lot of different things, processing stuff. So it was really fun to support that. But we had a COBOL programmer, and I was like, why can't we just move this stuff to a server? He's like, it's never going anywhere. I'm going to be able to write my ticket until I die because, COBOL programmers are an in-demand, short supply kind of thing, right? It's the law of economics that the less there is of something and the more demand there is for it, the higher the price goes. So that's an absolutely good skill that if you've got, you could definitely parlay that into some work. So yeah, go dust those COBOL skills off and get that on the resume, man. Find yourself a cool job writing COBOL all day. Let's see here. Great. That's not something you hear every day. Hey, I'm a COBOL programmer, but that's cool. Let's see here. Moving on. Looking for really great or just questions. They don't have to be great. They could just be questions. Why is the sky blue, Daniel? Well, you see that light refracts in certain color spectrums. And blue. All right, here's one. Here from Rogue Ferula. What prevents people from altering protocols to operate on alternate bands, i.e. ELRS operates on 2.4 or ELRS 900 megahertz? Why can't we mix it up and add benefits like skywave propagation? That's a very technical question about technologies I don't know. That is very interesting. If anybody knows an answer to Rogue Ferula's question, please drop that in. But what prevents people from altering protocols? I mean, if they're open source protocols, you can alter them all day long. It's getting them into the device itself, I would assume, would be the issue. So alternating on alternative bands. Okay, so yeah. Or ELRS on 900 megahertz. Why can't we mix it up for added benefit like skywave? I mean, I would assume that if you have the programming and technical skills that you could do that. You would have to write your own protocol, and then the device would have to support it. And then you'd have to make some sort of logic for it to be able to switch between and utilize that. But other than that, like, I don't know the specifics behind that. There's nothing stopping anybody from doing anything if they have the skills and the will to make it happen. Unless it's, you could, even if it's closed source, reverse engineering is not out of the question. Again, it just depends on your skill set and the capability of being able to do that. So interesting question though. I'm going to have to look into this. Wi-Fi and stuff like that. Any wireless stuff has never really intrigued me necessarily. I thought it was cool when it first came out, and then it quickly lost its luster for this guy. I don't really, it's not my thing. But other technologies, like I said, well, okay, what's up? Let me go look this up. What is ELRS? I might even know what it is and just don't realize it, because you know how it is. You're like, I don't see that every day. ELRS 2.4 GHz. What is this? Radio Master RC. ELRS receivers. Well, what is ELRS? What is ELRS? Go. ATX. Boy, nobody really wants to tell you what ELRS is. All right. Gemini. Oh, what is ELRS? Tell me. ELRS is okay. It is open source. So Express LRS, which is a high performance open source radio control RC link protocol, is primarily used in the world of first person view drones and other remote controlled aircraft and vehicles. Very cool. So it is open source. There you go. You can you've got the capability to get in there, look at that code and make some changes and work with the hardware, that is something that you might be able to make happen. Interesting. All right, moving on. I'm just going to bring this up. John Breck says he has a interview tomorrow and another interview on Monday for a cybersecurity architect role. Well, best of luck to you. We are rooting for you. Like I said, if you get this job, let us know. We'd love to celebrate the wins. Let's see here. Moving on. What else we got going on today? Questions, people? Do we have the questions? If there are questions, throw them in the chat. If you just got something really cool to talk about, throw that in the chat. We love that. You're welcome, Straw Hat Sec. Do what I can. I'm just another person trying to do cyber with everybody else. I put my cyber pants on one leg at a time, just like you do. And but I do make pretty good content, though, as far as like I think I'm a good trainer. I feel like that the Lord has blessed me with the skills and ability to relay information in a way that people just kind of get. That is a talent that not everyone has, and so I'm happy to use it in service to you good folks out there. We got Alice Grimm in the house. What's up, Alice? Good to see you this morning. When an individual is working on getting certs, learning foundations, networking, when will they know that they are ready to find a cyber position? Just start, man. Don't even worry about how far down the road you've got. Go ahead and start getting your name out there. Start doing it. Start applying for jobs. What's the worst that can happen? Is they say, you're not really qualified. You're going to be able to, you're going to get really good at and expect the rejection or the ghosting of your resume. You're like, man, I turned that in. I don't know why I didn't get a call back. I know I don't have any experience or, a lot of technical skills at this point, but I was expecting something, right? What's the worst they can do? Just not answer you, tell you no, right? But as you grow and they're going to see that come in, they're going to be able to kind of see that happen. So it doesn't matter. I mean, you got to get some foundational, I guess, stuff. Or otherwise, what are you doing? Don't go. I work at Dairy Queen and I've never done a tech thing in my life, but I'm applying for your job. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. But what I mean is, like, as you do gain those skills, you might not necessarily have those certs or anything, but whatever you do have, put it on the res, start looking for entry-level jobs, get on some workstation support. Like those, they kind of expect you to not have a lot of history, right? Because that's what those jobs are for. Work on those soft skills and let them know I have really good, like those soft skills are going to be great for the resume. Explain how well you work in customer service. If you have any of that experience, if you have any experience dealing with clients, that kind of stuff, all that stuff is money. If you have speaking experience, if you have written and communication skills that are amazing, put that in. They love that stuff. And it's great. Start getting out to conventions, see if you can get a talk. Right? Say, hey, I'm going to submit a talk from the perspective of a newbie. And that's really good for even the seasoned pros out there to be able to go, oh, wow, I didn't realize that that's the kind of thing that newbies are going through right now. I got to look into that. And then that becomes a topic of conversation. And now you've gotten an ability. FedEx was talking about how in Orlando, we had a pop-up talks. You could just sign your name on a board on a time slot and go give a talk. Jerry's going to be doing that at Simply CyberCon, right? In November. That's the kind of thing. So already go ahead and get yourself out there as much as you can. Start to say, well, yes, I actually have presented at that's how I did a pop-up talk. And they're going to be like, wow, you know. So, but when will you know you're ready? You're always going to have some level of imposter syndrome. I still do, right? There are days I just wake up and go, I suck. Just why? Just go back to being a normal person. It happens to us all. So you need to kind of surround yourself with a good core group of people, kind of like what you're doing right now with obviously Simply Cyber, right? Everybody here is so amazing, so awesome, supportive, and you got to come in and get your, get worked up and get ready to tackle the day so that you can get over any kind of imposter syndrome that you may have. But if you passed a certification, even if you haven't, if you're able to, here's what you got to realize about yourself, right? This is what I had to realize about myself. I might not necessarily have done it before, but I've done it, right? I constantly doing things like in my lab. Okay, I've never seen this tool before. I've never spun this up before. Let me see if I can build a lab and make it happen. And then you struggle bust your way through it. If you're able to do that and then find yourself at the end going, I did it. Look at this. You're ready for the job, because that's the job. That is the job. So much of the time is just going, I don't know what this is. I've been tasked with something to do, and now I have to learn it. Cool. You got to have some familiarity with these things, obviously, and you do that by reading the news and playing around with labs. And the more labbing you do, the more hands-on stuff you do, the more confident you'll be with being able to do that again. And you'll have a knowledge base. And of course, you got to work on certs or just gaining knowledge and building these things, sitting webinars, watching YouTube, writing your own notes, doing walkthroughs, doing labs. It's a constant state. Building tools is also a good one. Getting out there, talking with other people about it, going, hey, I'm in a Discord channel. Let me ask them, kind of like what we just had about the ELRS stuff, right? I'm sure there's quite a few people that were like, I'm sorry, say what? And then there were some people like, oh, I know exactly what that is. And now we all can go, oh, that's interesting. Maybe that's a vein of cyber that I can get into that would be very useful for me. So, yeah, when you know you're ready, if you can spin up some labs, if you're doing Try Hack Me or something, and you're making it through to the end of these things, I would say just start going for it, man. Don't let a piece of paper or a lack of experience start holding you back from applying to jobs. You never know when someone's willing to take a risk on you, right? They might realize you're a trustworthy person. I like you. You seem to be a good fit here. You never know. So just go ahead and start going for it, and don't worry about whether or not you're quote unquote ready. Just keep building skills. That's the job anyway. So rock on. All right, let's see here. Stretching me with that one. That was a good question. That was a tough question, but a good question. Let's see here. Moving on. Okay, another one from Alice Grimm for me. What got you into cybersecurity? So I've said this before. I got a little bit of a criminal in me. And yeah, I got a little criminal in me. And, I grew up with computers starting to become a thing for the home. So I was an 80s baby, 80s child of the 80s, which I loved and enjoyed thoroughly. It was a very exciting, fun, like magical time for us all, which is probably why it still hangs around and people find it interesting. Everybody that lived through it kind of loved it in some way, shape, or form. We're very nostalgia heavy when it comes to it. But because of that, every now and then you would see about hacking. And hacking seemed to be kind of like, it's like, why do people find spies interesting? Why do people find special forces interesting? Why do people find these job roles that are kind of outside of where they've almost legalized some criminal activity if it's done for God and country kind of thing. They let you go do this, and you're like, I've got it in me enough to not want to break the law per se and be a criminal, but I would love to do some of that. So that's what got me into cybersecurity. So as I grew, I started looking into it, and of course, back then it was you better learn programming, and it was RTFM and everybody telling you exactly what you should do and how you should do it. And if you don't do it their way, you're not going to get in there. Nobody was freely giving out any information. You had to earn it. You had to earn your stripes. You had to get in there, dig in, and show that you were learning something. And that made it really difficult. But it also did make it kind of intriguing. I remember being super frustrated about a lot of things and trying to show people, like, it was almost like if you told ChatGPT to be a total D-bag and only give me answers if I work for it, that would be like what it is. Go build like an LLM agent that does that will not give you any information unless you prove that you were already trying to learn it. And that's what it would be like. But it pushes you, right? It stretches you. It makes you kind of dig in. I wish I would have learned programming back then, but it was just out of my realm at that point, and the books weren't helping. And I didn't have money to kind of like take courses and stuff at that point. So I just did what I could. I found some forums back then. IRC was a really big deal. And you could go into some IRC chat rooms or bulletin board systems and things of that nature. Then forums kind of came out after that. And then there was this Korean hacking site called Hackers Lab. And that was really the thing that kind of jumped me off. There were a few books out there about hacking. Every now and then you'd find a documentary or something about computer hacking, and I was just drawn to it like a moth to a flame, man. I just loved it. I would see hacking in movies, like even Jurassic Park, right? The whole idea of him creating these programs and he's locking their systems down. It was intriguing to me. I didn't want to necessarily take anybody's systems down, but I wanted to be able to do it, if that made sense. And then, you learn some things and you start to test them because there was no playgrounds. There was only live environments. So you start checking for telnet ports and you start trying to brute force some things just to see if you can. And of course, we didn't have the security that we have nowadays. So you can kind of get away with that kind of stuff. And then you go, oh, I have a prompt. That's okay. Let me get the heck out of here. And yeah, that was fun. So yeah, that was it. That's what I made some friends, and those friends and I would sit around and we would learn stuff together. Great way of learning. But that's what got me into it. Fun question, taking me down memory lane. Let's see here. We've got a few minutes left and I've got time to get some more questions. Space Tacos asking, what books am I reading of late, cybersecurity or not? Got any good recommendations? So my daughter, what you should say, my daughter is a big fan of these Warriors, these Warriors series of books, and I've started reading so that I can share that experience with her, so that I have a point of contact with my kid. She loves that stuff. Actually, it's not too bad. It's about a clans of cats that are fighting each other and they have territories. Very interesting, actually. I don't mind it too bad at all. Nice little fantasy thing with these talking cats fighting each other. It's actually pretty, it's definitely not for the littles, because the cats get all beat up and tore up and they gotta go to the medicine cat, and it's fun. It's fun stuff. I want to get into the Dungeon Crawler Carl series because I've heard good things. So totally gotta pick that up. I think I've actually got it on interlibrary loan wait. I'm just waiting for it to come in. Let's see here. I'm not reading anything technical books at this point. I don't have any that I could recommend. I mean, I got some I could recommend. There's none on the top of my head that I'm reading at this point. Okay, this is interesting. This comes from Rogue Ferula. Interesting thing nobody is talking about is the breach on remote comms scout services. They found tons of files on law enforcement and offenders of the worst kind. Yeah, let me go look that up. Let me take a look and see what I can find. This is remote comms scout services. Remote comm scout breach. See what I can get on that. All right. A major data breach at Remotecom, a U.S. surveillance company, has exposed sensitive information on nearly 14,000 individuals under court supervision and over 6,800 law enforcement personnel across 49 states. As of October 2025, the breach targeted a Remotecom Scout surveillance software, which is used to monitor pretrial, probation, and parole clients, and leaked data includes personal details, criminal charges, contact information for both offenders and officers. Wow, yeah. Hacker known as Wicked claimed the intrusion was one of the easiest they had ever carried out. How about that? Good call on that. I'm going to have to look into more of that junk. That is crazy. Oh my goodness. We are at time, everyone. That was a banger to end on. Thank you, Rogue. Appreciate that one. Hope you guys enjoyed Jawjacking today. Wow, this went by quick. I did not expect that. You guys have such great questions, though. I do enjoy hanging out with you good folks. That said, you know what to do. Where's my paper? The Cyber Mentors podcast is where you need to roll to. Enjoy that. I hope you have a great day, everyone. Until next time, stay secure.